frosting. I want big piece. I want the frosting. I want big piece. I want the frosting.
Can I help you with something?
I'm him. It's been 10 years. How do we know it's him?
Why can't you just be happy he's back?
Because he's not back.
I want a big piece. I want the frosting.
Joan Allen, Andrew McCarthy, The Family, special premiere Thursday at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Hi, guys. I was just telling Joan backstage, thank you for adding another show that will now eat up my evenings, because the first 2 episodes I saw they're better than like most movies I've seen in years. I mean, it's incredible. I will leave it to you to talk kind of about the premise, because I don't want to give anything away. So, can each of you talk about your characters in the show?
Yeah, my character's name is Claire Warren, and Rupert Graves plays my husband, and we have 3 children in the show. And it spans 2 time frames. It's the present day and 10 years in the past. And 10 years in the past, our youngest son was abducted and kidnapped and missing and presumed dead. Cut to 10 years later, you saw in the clip this young man, coming, running, disheveled on a deserted road, going into a police station saying, "I'm that kid from 10 years ago." So there's a reunification with the family. And there kind of takes off from there, because he's been extremely traumatized. We've been traumatized. There are defenses and.
What about me? I was traumatized.
No.
Spent 10 years in
I was
prison.
thrown in
Talk
jail
about
for it.
traumatized.
You can tell that. But it's kind of how the family sort of comes to terms, and there's questions about whether this is the real son or not. And then there's Andrew.
Yeah, my guy, Hank, he was thrown in jail for the next door neighbor who was accused of abducting and killing the boy. He was thrown in jail for it. And then, so of course, when the kid shows back up, I'm like, well, I guess
Hello?
I'm free. So,
Hi.
Yeah, hi. And so Hank comes out and has a bone to pick with Joan's family.
Yes, and because Joan's family, as Hank says, lit the torches that ended up sending
Yeah,
him
I
to
mean,
jail.
and Joan then sort of is going, I'll speak for Joan. She is the mayor of the town, and I guess used this as a political tool, I guess. Is that fair?
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, I was going to
She
ask.
did use it as a political tool.
Do you think she used it as a political tool?
What, her child?
Well, that's what's
her
interesting
family
about. But that's what's
tragedy.
interesting
Yeah,
about
like
the show is everyone has no one. It's a bit like life in that no one's agenda is really entirely clear, even to themselves. I think everyone, in their heart of hearts, doesn't really. We justify things, but do we really know what the truth is?
Yes.
I think the truth is the first casualty in families, and
Yeah.
so I think in this case maybe she's using it. Maybe she isn't. It's what someone really believes. It's complicated.
Yeah, I think that's really true, because I think that she, from my perspective, when I'm playing it, a lot of times I'm just playing, this is the way she processed the trauma of the experience of losing her son. So she mobilized, and she became an activist, and she decided to channel these things into making the world a better place, by entering the political arena. But I think it is complicated, because I think perhaps sometimes she does utilize it for her own political gain, but I think maybe the origins of it came from a more genuine place, and so it's kind of muddy. It's not really clear.
And I have to say, Joan, I think you get the world record, and please don't Sam Smith research this, because I could be wrong, for playing the mom of 2 imprisoned children in 1 year, in Room and this.
Yes, it was the synchronicity of it was kind of crazy. I finished Room a year ago in December, and then in January I got this script. And initially my response to my agent was, I just played those scenes. I just reunited. I just had the journalists all on the lawn saying, welcome home. And so, but the family is a lot more than that. I mean, the Room is more of a microscopic study of this kind of
Joan's amazing in that movie, huh?
I mean,
process. Well, I'm very proud to be part of that
That movie was
of that.
was incredibly
that film.
difficult to watch in the best way possible.
Yeah, well, I think it's actually has a lot of uplifting qualities to it. You know, it's the subject matter is daunting, but I think it's about a lot of other things besides that as well.
But did being in the movie and kind of going through that experience tangentially help you play Claire?
Well, I had done research on parents who've been put in this horrible situation, and it's really unpleasant. And so I didn't feel like I had to dig into that so much. I was like, well, I kind of did the research on that. I'm kind of familiar, as much as I can be. But in addition, I started watching female politicians online, women governors, mayors, women in political power, Hillary, of course, and watching how women of a certain political level, behave, how they give speeches, how they give press conferences, and I added that to the list. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of a dark thing to play. It's very traumatizing to lose a child, and to do it back
That
to
way,
back was
yeah.
a little intense.
And for both of you, when you read the script, was it just kind of a no-brainer? Like, I assume that you read the pilot and you're like, hi, where can I sign?
Well, when I read it, I thought Joan was already attached, and so Joan's a bit of an actor magnet, and so that was immediately very appealing. We'll talk about her, so she's not here. No, Joan, I'm like, Joan
I
Allen's
do love
doing it?
actor magnet. That's a great phrase.
Thank you.
But it's like Joan Allen's doing this? Let me read this. So, and to me, I just thought it was very compelling. My guy was just a compelling, interesting, complicated guy. He's either the most misunderstood guy in the world or every parent's worst nightmare, and probably both. And so he was just interesting for me to play, and then I hadn't done that before. I hadn't seen him on TV before, and so I just thought it was a good group of people, and it was easy to jump in.
And your character, I think what makes him so compelling is that he's not playing it for sympathy. I mean, you don't, at least I didn't walk away. You feel bad for him. The guy was wrongly imprisoned for 10 years, but you don't feel bad for him as a human being. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
Makes
mean,
it-
he's a pretty
He's a pretty
insular, remote, complicated guy with some,
Yeah.
sexual
issues.
hang-ups and issues and, secrets that, and there's nothing more dangerous than sexual secrets, I think, because people go to great lengths to conceal them and we can easily justify behavior and all that stuff, so it gets very messy.
And Joan, the way your family on the show gels is so authentic because one child becomes super ambitious, the other child falls apart. The parents, I don't know how much I can give away, so let's just say that there's drama in the family.
Yeah.
How did you guys all know each other before you started filming?
No, I didn't. I mean, I had seen work. I'd seen Alison Pill do things in the theater. Marvelous actor, and I knew Rupert Graves a little bit from television. I'm not sure that we hadn't.
You guys had known each
we
other
hadn't
at all?
even met before, so they were new people. To me, but I come from ensemble theater. I did ensemble theater all in my 20s. It was the best training ground I could possibly have. So I'm kind of used to being thrown into real, when you get thrown in the mix of really good actors, it's really a joy because you get to know each other and you work off each other and you play off of each other and you begin to trust each other, and it's really a lot of fun to be in the playing arena together.
What did each of you take away from working with the other, now that you're part of the Joan team?
You go first.
Well, Andrew also directed 3 episodes. And not to get too choked up, but it really does. His direction, in addition to playing this role, was one of the great, we had wonderful directors on the show, believe me. But Andrew's participation and the way he directed, and being an actor himself, there were just things I think that he could say to each of us individually that were very astute, were very original, that were like, think about the circumstance right before you're walking in the room. What about if it's this, or just the tiniest, in the most gentle, loving, enthusiastic, you can trust me way, that it really, all the actors were just kvelling and overwhelmed and very, very happy to be working with Andrew, because it's a very vulnerable situation to put yourself in, to act, and he set the stage not only with the actors but with the crew. He was very, very fast shooting, but very creatively shooting, and very kind to the crew, and I think that was one aspect that just completely,
God, I sound incredible.
He is.
You sound pretty. I'm like, I
but
can
it was
work
really. I only once before had I directed something that I was also acting on. So, I mean, I have every actor neuroses in the world, so I'm pretty comfortable knowing what's going on with actors. So, and you know, to return the compliment, Joan is a bit of an acting Ferrari. You just kind of go, "Doof," and she goes, you know. So it was fun. I mean, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And my character is very much removed from the family. It's not like I'm one of the brothers or something. Yeah. So I'm removed, and you know, most of my scenes actually in the show are alone, which is I love. And so I was sort of approaching them a bit with some distance. You know what I mean? If I don't think I had directed any scenes where me and Joan were in it. No. Thank God. That would be really weird to me if I'm acting with Joan going, "Oh yeah, cut Joan, just do it a little this way." I once directed a show that I was on, and the other actor said, "Will you stop moving your lips when I'm talking?" You know, so I was glad. So my character's luckily at a bit of a remove from everyone else, so my scenes are not with them generally, you know.
But directing the Ferrari of actor. I mean, you're coming up with all these lines that I'm like, this is amazing. Joan is going to walk out of here being like, I'm a Ferrari. What color Ferrari, though? That's the question. Red, I think.
Yeah, red, definitely red.
Definitely red. How much research did you do into people like Hank?
I did no technical research into. I mean, Hank is.
I don't mean technical. I mean, like, obviously, you know.
Hank, you know, is a pedophile. You know, come right out and say the nasty word. I mean, it's the most horrific pariah in our society, and yet I just thought, well, he could just be evil, or what's the deal? I mean, people are complicated. What goes into that? And you know, people that are alone all the time tend to exist in their own head and justify any kind of behavior and sort of deny things and compartmentalize. And so I just got into that whole notion of when I feel very, very separate from the world. And he's obviously been great harm done to him, you know? And so people that have had harm done to them do harm to others. Generally, I mean, that's historically, right? So, and it just feels normal in a certain way. And then there's all that self-loathing you throw on top of it, and then it makes it really interesting. Because, I mean, no one hates him more than himself. And I think a lot of people can identify with self-loathing. So, I don't know, to me, he was just very interesting. Because he's evil. Does he do evil things? We don't even know if he does evil things, certainly at the beginning. But he certainly has bad thoughts.
He has bad thoughts.
You know?
And the fact that, well, you know, that he comes, when he's released, I mean, if I don't know, not that I can put myself in that position in any way, but I feel like I would move to like a separate continent where no one knew me, and he just comes back. You're like, why?
Well, I think he's
why
very
would you do
incapable. I
that?
don't think he has a lot of human, you know, life skills. You know what I mean? Even before any of this happened, I don't think Hank had many life skills. He was just like, go to there, go home, talk to mom, have dinner from a can, and go to bed, and get up and do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think the idea of, maybe I'll move to Paris, entered in, you know?
And go to a cafe and learn how to write. What's the vibe on set like? Is it incredibly heavy, or do you guys just keep
It's
it
really
loose?
not, is it? It's just sort of, occasionally you walk onto a set and it's very quiet.
Yes.
But often it's just sort of chatting away and then cut action Joan, and then Joan starts weeping. It's like, whoa, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
You know? But it's pretty relaxed, don't you
Most of the time. Most of the time. I had a couple days, you know, there were some really intense scenes where, you know, there was one day I was like, oh, I have to go for Cry Day Friday. And it was a really, really intense scene, and I couldn't really interact very much for like 4 or 5 hours for this one scene, but that was kind of the anomaly. In general, it wasn't to that degree.
And did you base Claire on anyone?
Not really. I mean, I looked at, like I said,
Hillary,
women mayors, and I watched clips of Hillary and a little bit about Sarah Palin, because Claire is kind of she's not a seasoned, she's from the hip sort of politician, from a gut response. She didn't study law. She didn't come up through the ranks. I think she was a PTA mom who was maybe president of the PTA. I think maybe she was, you know, organized the school fundraiser, and she saw that she was kind of good at organizational community skills, and she decides, you know, to throw her hat in the ring to run for city council first. And she's pretty timid about it, and she's like, oh, I'm not really sure that I can do this. And, you know, cut to 10 years later in the present, then she's become the mayor, and she actually has something that, you know, she has a platform about family values, and she presents that, and there are people that, you know, that follow that, you know, platform that she
That was one of the things in
presents.
watching Joan, actually, because there's a really subtle but very specific difference between the 10 years earlier and then after. Like, my character, the only difference I did was they colored my hair a little. That was my acting change. But Joan has a real subtle difference where you empower things. It was lovely to watch that. You know, she really sort of takes space, whereas in the 10 years earlier, she's still kind of unsure in a certain way.
Exactly.
See, I think your character in the beginning, though, I mean, well, the 10 years ago portion seems a bit more kind, maybe? Is that the word?
Well, I don't think prison's good for anybody.
Uh,
You know, it hardens people up, I think. You know,
you think? Yeah, the prison mattress,
particularly
right?
people like little Hank. Yeah.
Oh, little Hank. Oh. Were you guys prepared for the response to this? I mean, it's pretty intense, the critical response.
Well, I've been hearing through the grapevine. I actually don't read reviews, but I've been hearing through Jenna Bands, the wonderful creator of the show. She's texting Andrew and me like, yeah. We both were saying backstage, it's like, maybe we don't want to hear so much. I mean, I love hearing that the response is positive. That makes me very happy. I don't need to know specifics. And so I kind of go on my merry way after that. But it's wonderful what I am hearing through the grapevine and through Jenna.
But it's also, you know, you do something, and Joan's done it for a long time as well. And, you know, sometimes you think, this is going to be great, and nothing happens. Other times you go, well, we'll just do that, and suddenly it's a huge hit. So you really don't have any idea. So we thought that we were doing something good, and the scripts are all really good. So when it actually does get received well, then it's like, wow, we're not crazy. You know, so that's nice.
What can you say about the trajectory of your characters? I know.
Well, for Hank, things just get worse.
So
which is
Hank
fun.
He doesn't move to Paris and become a writer, is what you're saying?
Season 2.
Yeah, well, my character throughout the season does decide to consider throwing her hat in the ring for the governorship of the state. So she's on kind of a political track in this season, and you know, a lot of secrets get revealed. A lot of things that certain family members are keeping from other family members start becoming revealed, and it kind of shakes the foundation of the family, and you just sort of see as the truth, you know, and other things start getting slowly sort of parsed out. You just see the effects on the family and how it fractures them or brings them together, and
That's one of the things that's really good about the show, I think, is that it's very truthful in the sense everybody's got a little bit of a secret, and you just make one little choice and not quite tell the truth there, and then it just goes a little further off track, and the secret gets bigger, till suddenly it's this monumental thing, and you've built your whole life around it, and everybody's got one, so they're all intersecting. It's not just like one person has a secret and everybody's living with that. Everybody seems to have their own secrets and their own, so then they need to protect a secret, and so you need to lie to protect a secret, and so everybody's living, it's this crazy cobweb, and that to me is really compelling about the show. And each one sort of, it's like you pull a strand apart and then there's another one. So the show gets more complicated the more you think you've got it figured out. And then you learn that and you're like, whoa, okay, that turns everything I thought on its ear. And I think it's wonderfully written in that way.
yeah, and I think that the secrets sometimes, you know, people have kept them for the best of intentions.
Everyone has good
Absolutely,
intentions.
yeah.
It's like,
No
I'm
one thinks they
protecting-
have bad intentions
That's
in life.
what's so
you know what I
great
mean?
about it, and that it builds and over time, just like Andrew described, and then it turns into this big thing, and then once it gets revealed, it devastates another family member, or you know, it throws them way off.
But that's true. It's even in life. I don't think anyone thinks they're doing something with bad intentions. We can justify anything.
Anything, yeah, absolutely. And even when you tell a little white lie to someone that you don't think twice about,
Of course,
and
you're
then
doing it
5
for the
years
good
later,
reason,
you're
to
like,
protect
what?
them and
Yeah.
all those kind of, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and you know, I have to ask you guys, is the kid Adam? Come on, tell me. No one's watching. It's okay. Seriously, no one's watching. It's just us three.
Keep watching.
But we do find out.
Yes, you will find out during the course of
Oh, you guys.
But
with
then
your
it's like,
poker
then
face.
it becomes that's not, you think that's the big question, then that opens 10 more things, and then other things become much bigger questions. So that's really, you know, it just keeps unraveling. How long is a piece of string, you know?
Oh my God. Do you guys are your minds blown when you read the scripts?
A little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, we would get episodes.
Did you read the latest script?
We'd rush to each other's dressing rooms like, oh my God, did you read the next one? It's crazy.
And I know that this is from the Scandal family, so do you guys have the same level of secrecy with the scripts that they do?
I guess it was never.
I mean,
really
it's like, it's sort of like,
understood.
Yeah.
It's understood that
Yeah.
you.
I wasn't told anything, but I just kind of understood that I shouldn't say anything.
No, they have, you know, they only get them the day of the table read, and it's very.
We got ours in advance, which was actually I was very grateful for because it gave time to actually sort of sit with the script and think about it and consider it, and you know, I appreciated having the advance time. At least we had it this season.
Awesome. Well, let's turn it over to the audience for a few questions.
Hi, Hi, thanks for being here today. My question is whether you two prefer working on TV shows or movie projects, and what your favorite genre to work on is.
I don't see that much of a big differentiation. The interesting thing with me about working, this is the first time I've started out on a TV show, for the whole season. And I was curious how I would respond just myself to playing a character for that length of time and how that would feel. And because I'd only played characters really for 2 to 3 months and something, and would I get bored? And actually no, I found out more about my character as the season went on, and I would hope that we'd have a second season, because I just felt like, I wish in episode 9, I wish I knew then for episode 1 what I'm thinking now is I'm discovering Claire, because hopefully it's a living, breathing process. It's not set in stone, and that you just continue to explore and find things and nuance, and so I really enjoy that.
Yeah, what she said. The only real difference is TV's faster, and you're doing more in a day. And I personally have a bit of a fast rhythm, so I like to go fast. So it also keeps you sort of on your toes. And you can have sometimes planned things as an actor, and when you're moving really fast, all those plans go out the window and you're just responding like a normal human being, which is sometimes a lot better.
And also, I feel like each episode, or the 2 episodes I saw, each episode of the 2 I saw, is like a small movie. I mean, a 44-minute movie.
Yeah.
So it's kind of amazing, the level of detail and quality that went into each one.
Yeah.
But you see that more and more in TV now. TV's become such a high caliber medium. When I started acting, if you did a TV show, it meant your career was over. And now, some of the best work and some of the best writing certainly is on TV.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Soderbergh is now only doing TV, so there you go.
Yeah.
Next question, please.
Hey guys, thanks for coming out. I have a question for each of you guys. For Joan, I'm a big fan of your career. You always seem to have a kind of wide range of roles, from Georgia O'Keeffe to the Bourne films. And I'm wondering what your selection process is like. I feel like you don't just take a job, to take it. You really hone in on a specific aspect, maybe a character. And Andrew, I know you've done, it seems like directing, you've kind of been balancing directing and acting, and I'm wondering what that process is like, and if you prefer one over the other.
I feel like I don't get that many scripts sent to me. It's not like I'm reading 20.
That's insane, isn't it?
I'm not like reading 25, 50 scripts and saying I'll do that one. It's not like that. But I'm just pretty fortunate. I think that I tend to get scripts that are often interesting, or a character that I would be interested in playing. So I feel like those ones that are kind of few and far between, I kind of happen to come my way, and I kind of luck into them somehow.
And just to say what Andrew said, that's insane.
But it's like people know Joan's not going to do some terrible things, so they don't even send it to her. You know what I mean? It's like they only know you're going to do a certain caliber of movie, so there's not. Anyway,
well,
it's true.
And
directing? Directing. Yeah, no, I've been directing. I haven't acted in several years, and I didn't really miss acting. And then this came along, and I thought it was so different and compelling to me that I wanted to do it. But a lot of me likes directing better than acting. Although when I acted again for like I said, the first time maybe 5 years or so when I was doing this, I realized what a relief it was. I mean, I've been acting since I was a little kid, 17. So it was like breathing to me. It's just like, oh, I know the rhythm of this. I know this. So this is so much easier, just because I was so comfortable doing it, because I've always done it. And so to go back to it, I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
Hi. My question's for Andrew. When you're directing and acting on the same show, does it have an effect on your acting and vice versa?
I do exactly what the director tells me when I'm acting, and I have to say, I'm a much easier actor now than I ever was before I'd ever directed. Before I'd ever directed, a director would say, well, go over there and do that, and I'd go, yeah, what if I went over here? Now the director wants me to go over there and stand on my head and face the other way. I'm happy to go do it. So I go where I'm told, and I don't give myself a hard time when I'm directing. And also, but it's like, when I'm directing, I'm at home, the night before, I'm at home in my living room wandering around doing this. Okay, I go over here, and you talk, and you go over there. And I act out all the parts. And so when I come in and I go, guys, this is what I thought about moving around, I've already sort of acted them all out. I love being Joan at home. the night before. And actors are great because good actors are they're not gonna say, give you a dumb idea. If Joan says, I think I should go over there, I'm going to listen,
And are you able to look at yourself objectively as a director?
The sad truth is there seems to be very little difference in my acting, whether someone else is directing me or I am, Usually another director will just go simpler, Andrew. So I try and when I'm doing that, remember, do it my sort of actor-y way and then do one real simple, and that's usually the best one.
We have time for one more question, please.
Hi, I just want to know if you guys have ever imagined like a special spin-off for either of your characters at all, or does the show like cover like everything, so you couldn't imagine that?
A spin-off like another show?
From the family, you mean?
Like, of each character?
Of each character. I haven't gone there yet.
Oh God, a Hank spin-off. Oh my God.
Hank spin-off would be kind of scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm off. Well, maybe when he moves to Paris.
Exactly.
It'll be what, en famille, la famille, like whatever the French. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't thought about that yet. I think we're maybe hoping just for a second season.
I think we have our
at
hands
this point,
full at the moment, yeah.
which we would love to have.
Have you guys already filmed all the episodes?
We have.
Oh, so you know exactly what.
We finished the end of January shooting this season.
And let me get this straight. The first episode premieres tomorrow on ABC.
Yes.
The second episode premieres Sunday, and then the show moves to its regular Sunday slot.
Yeah, so it's Thursday and then it's Sunday.
Sunday, and then
week,
Sunday going forward. And you guys, seriously watch it. I'm telling you. It's Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.